Hello everybody, Hetzer here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. Today we're going to be talking about the Hetzer Wheeled Assault Gun, 40-ton vehicle. It's a 4.60 internal combustion engine, so yeah, it's not too bad. Definitely with its weaponry, it's a city fighter. And with a 4.6, it's definitely a Succession War style vehicle. Not fast by any means, but it carries a big gun. So moves slowly and carry a big stick. Has 0 heat sinks, doesn't need them. It has 96 points of armor, which is fairly respectable for a vehicle of its nature. Doesn't last very long in combat, to be honest. So it doesn't really need a lot, which is kind of interesting when you look at it. The main weapon on board is an AC-20 out the front slope, 14 tons, and 4 tons of ammo. Yeah, if you went through 20 shots with a wheeled assault gun, the enemy is ignoring you and letting you just play rampage throughout everywhere. So that's pretty much how it works. You might be better off with 2 tons of ammo and something else to go with it. Now, like I said, the Hetzer Wheeled Assault Gun, or WAG, Hetzer WAG, I like to call it, wag your tail. It definitely falls under the guise of city fighter. So if you got an urban environment, and it's not that bad when you look at the battle value. It's like 2 or 575, somewhere in there, depending on if you got a good crew in it or not. Which, why would you put a good crew in it anyway? Most likely it's going to die horrible death, especially facing off against mechs. But all the games we've ever played with Hetzers, they get about 2-3 turns of play before they get obliterated. They get up there close, come around a building or over a hill or something, waiting and waiting and waiting for the enemy to get close, and they come out of hiding. Unleash an AC-20 into somebody, hopefully. Cross your fingers and toes and legs. And then the next turn, they all look at it. Oh, AC-20 vehicle. Kill it. Boom. Gone. So that's that's the life cycle of a Hetzer. And for that matter, Demolisher tanks too, because everybody wants that AC-20 God. Now, the Hetzer does work good in conjunction with the Demolishers or Rommel tanks, because they have an AC-20 also. Oh, they have overlapping goodness there. So if you could have a lance of, say a couple Rommels and a couple Hetzers, and they'll cover each other fairly decently. It's just that there's not very much long-range firepower. You're looking at just the LRMs with the Rommels. So you have to rely on stealth alone to keep this thing alive until it can come out of hiding and deliver its package. So overall, not a bad vehicle for the price. There you can get some better vehicles possibly, but you might even think about like a Saladin or something that can deliver an AC-20 at speed, hover. So you got that. But overall, the Hetzer, it works, especially definitely fighting in a heavy wooded area or a urban environment. Now, there are a few variants of this vehicle that are out there. Let me see, we'll get this there. There's an AC-10 version. Now, I've used this one to pretty good effect, but I made some changes to my AC-20 version. This one replaces AC-20 for an AC-10. Okay, you can save some tonnage, and it has 5 tons of ammunition and armor increased. I typically will take this version and just downgrade to AC-10, and then the 3 tons that I've saved, still keep the ammo, for like a couple tons of ammo for the AC-10, so that's 20 shots. That's more than enough. And then turn around and put like a couple SRM2s on board and a ton of ammo, and put a micro turret on top of the vehicle up there in the top hatch. So it was like a commander's cupola. He's just up there and goes, "Oh, infantry, shoot the SRMs off." "Ooh, but you have 1 ton of ammo? You might as well just throw Infernals on board." So it kind of gives you the ability to take on infantry in a urban environment. Or if you get a mech come close, you can hit them with an Inferno, cook them up a little bit. Especially if you get against vehicles, hit with some Infernals. That causes all kinds of fun against vehicles that can't handle the heat. So that's kind of like how I work with it. It's one of the things I really enjoy. You could also think about putting a machine gun array on board, like a half ton of ammo, and put a little turret up there with a whole bunch of machine guns. So if you're running through an area, it's like, "Oh, look at the infantry." Just unleash on them and kill a bunch of infantry. So yeah, it gives you a little bit of 360 protection per se. Yeah, it's not really, it's like one gun to the front, and then you could kind of rotate the turret around, but for a hex side. All right, so that is that. Then there's the laser variant. Okay, this one came out in 2889. Places the autocannon with 4 medium lasers and a bunch of heat sinks. Yeah, it's like you're doing the same amount of damage, but you're wrapping everything up into heat sinks on this thing to keep those 4 operational medium lasers. Range is the same, but you might have been better off just going with a large laser. If you're going to go energy weapons, go with a large laser, some SRMs or something like that. So not really a big fan of that. It's like I'd rather take a mech with a sway back, to be honest, and run around with that instead. You get better usage out of it. Now, then there's the LRM version. Yeah, this is an interesting one. In 3001, the LRM variant came out. Parks a couple LRM 15s and 4 tons of ammunition out the front slope instead of the AC-20. You're actually doing more damage out range. So maybe if you had one of these, say you got a lance of Hetzers, and one of them is an LRM version. There's your long-range fire support right there. So it can dish out some damage out at range while people are closing on you, and you keep the other 3 hidden. So there you go. Not a bad variant. Now, when things get closer, you're still looking at targets range 7 to 21. You know, you start having those detrimental problems with minimum range. So there's that problem. Now, there's the SRM version. Came out in 2957. This one carries 5 SRM 6s and 3 tons of ammunition. Sounds tasty. So you're basically getting 9 salvos out of that thing. You might be able to use all 9 salvos. So once again, you're getting into that concept. Maybe you have an LRM version, you got an SRM version, and a couple AC-20 versions for the bodyguards up close. So when somebody comes around the corner, you keep, you're hitting somebody with the LRMs. Indirect fire probably, and then when they come around the corner, a couple AC-20 version pump 2 shells and then bust some holes into somebody, especially if it's a mech, and then you hit them with the SRM version and just fill those little holes full of crit hunting. Yeah, see, there's concepts right there. Then there's the Scout version. Came out in 3014. It has a Beagle probe on it. They cut the ammo in half. Okay, not a really big deal, to be honest. And put a Beagle probe on it. It's a marker. So, yeah, not bad. It's kind of useful in some ways, but most of the games I've ever played, you're better off with ECM. But, that doesn't come into play until even later than when this version was built. So, Your mileage may vary how you want to work on it. Now, this is an interesting one. The LBX LBX 20 version. All right, has 5 tons of ammo. They replaced the internal combustion engine with a fusion engine. Oh, okay, so they got plenty of fusion engines now laying around, so they put one of those in and increased the armor on the flanks and rear, so they up armored it a bit with an LBX 20 on board. So basically the tonnage savage comes from the engine, and you add more tonnage to the armor. Yeah, but it comes in at a battle value of 760. So this is an interesting concept here. So maybe if you got a lance of these guys, maybe a couple AC-20 version standards, lower battle value, then you maybe have a LRM version for long range firing, and you got this thing up close. So when somebody comes around the corner, the other two hammer away, and then you just shotgun them with this LBX 20 and just start hunting for crits on a mech or even pilot hits. So yeah, there's options there. You could even go with an LBX 10 and go with the same concept I had before with putting some other short range stuff on it. Micro turret. And then you have the sealed version. This is kind of like, okay, why are we doing this? But it's like sealed environment in case you're working on a moon or anything, where it has a fusion engine, so you don't have to worry about using oxygen or anything of that nature to burn, because you got internal combustion engine. And then you have a fusion engine. So, and you got a sealed environment so you can protect the crew, so it can operate. Let's say you want to use it for operations on a mining moon or something of that nature. It'll work. Or a hostile planet, and you're worried about pirates coming in and stealing uranium. All right, so then it has the standard autocannons replaced with a Rack 5 with 3 tons of ammo and a C3 system. So there you go. Actually, not bad idea. So when you got the C3 system coming up later in life, you might consider putting C3 slaves on all your stuff. And then they got some custom one that they call it the Jagdpanzer II. This is experimental technology of the variant of the Hetzer. Features 6 tons of vehicular stealth armor. A Guardian ECM. Okay, there we go. It has a Ultra 20 version with 4 tons of ammo and 2 machine guns and its sponson turret. And it has a light fusion engine, so saving, and it has increased its speed to a 5. Not bad. Kind of interesting concept. So it's a little faster moving. Comes out though at 1,000 battle value. So it's like you have a bunch of machine guns for anti-infantry work. You have capability to pumping out double AC-20s. Now that is something on a vehicle. I don't mind an AC Ultra on a vehicle. That's just not bad. It's like, it's, to me, vehicles are kind of expendable in some ways. So it's like, if they hit her, it's like, oh, you see somebody coming at you with an AC-20 Ultra, they're probably going to focus on it, probably ignoring other things that can get in and do other damage. So there you go. So that is the Hetzer wheeled assault gun. Overall, not a bad little vehicle. I like them. I find uses many times in different games over the years. So there you go. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. And we will see you in the next one. Elcraig's out.